Okay guys, so we're going to go on to some Ne-Waza fundamental movements now, and the importance of our fundamental movements in Ne-Waza is really to be comfortable and be mobile in all positions in Ne-Waza. So before we even get into talking about specific techniques, we're going to start looking at some movements that you can do completely on your own, or you can do them with a group of other people in the dojo. So the first one we're going to do is shrimping. Some of the key points to look for this are the disassociation of my hips. So I really want to get a big movement with my hips. So I'm going to move across the mat, facing in the direction, moving in the direction that my head is towards. I'm going to bring my foot up towards my bum, and then I'm going to push away, push my hips away, and use my hands as though I'm pushing an opponent away from me. And I'm going to use that movement to move up the mat. Then the other side. Back. Now, it's really important on those that we don't get in the habit of just keeping our body in a straight line. So I could push my body just in a straight line up the mat. But what we want to get comfortable on is changing the angle with our hips and making lots of room in this space here. So every time, I'm going to really try and make sure my feet are close to my bum. I push my hips away and I move up the mat. Hands out as though there's an imaginary opponent here. Okay, so that's shrimping, or ebi in Japanese. The reverse of that is a reverse shrimp. So we're going to, this time, move in the direction that our feet are pointing. We're going to go from one side, elbow and heel on the mat. We're going to really try and drive our hips as high as we can so that we can start to move towards our feet and land other side, other elbow, other heel on the mat. And back the way. So, that's our shrimping and our reverse shrimping. Okay, next, let's get a little bit comfortable going over our neck. So, we want to be able to be comfortable in lots of positions across the back of our shoulders, back of our shoulder blades to the other side. So we can do this in lots of different ways. A nice simple one to start with is to sit in a position with our legs slightly bent. Hands can hold our ankles, if you can hold your ankles if you're a bit younger than I am. Okay, or down on your mid leg. We're going to go elbow down, shoulder down, cross the back of our shoulders, other shoulder down, other elbow down. And we should end up in exactly the same position again, one mat area down the mat. Back the way. If you watch my feet, I'm trying not to let my feet leave the mat. So I'm not rolling and then my feet come off the mat and I start rolling off in another direction. I'm almost gripping the mat with my feet. So as I roll onto my elbow and shoulder, my toes still touching the mat, all the way into this other position. So that's a nice simple one to get us used to rolling across the back of our shoulders. We can make that a little bit more complicated and we can go from this, I like to call this 1 foot, 1 knee position. And I think this is a really important control position in Ne-Waza as well. But we can also practice going across the back of our shoulder blades from the 1 foot, 1 knee position. So from here, again, I'm going to go hand, elbow, shoulder, cross the back of my shoulders. I'm starting with my left knee down and my right knee up. And as I finish, I go across the back of my shoulders and I finish, right knee down, left knee up. Across the back of my shoulders, 1 foot, 1 knee. Here, I'm not rolling across my back. So my back never touches the mat here. If you watch really closely, it's only ever my arm and the back of my shoulders that is on the mat. So I'm getting comfortable again with this movement down on the ground, just across the back of my shoulder blades. A couple of other positions it's really important to get comfortable in. It's really important, I think, to get comfortable with your balance in Ne-Waza. And one of the ways you can start that is just rocking. So if I rock backwards and forwards without touching my hands or my feet to the floor, I can start to feel where my balance is. I can start to use my hands as though I was maybe trying to grip someone. So I can roll back and forwards. I can even kind of find my balance point, walk around a little bit on my bum without my hands and my feet touching the mat. Okay, again, another good position to be able to be comfortable with our movement in Ne-Waza. That can lead on to a bit of a roll up into our 1 foot, 1 knee position again. We'll talk about this a little bit later in some of our control positions. So roll onto my back, sit up, 1 foot, 1 knee, my bum's nice and close to the floor, my torso's up nice and straight. I'm not over like this, I'm in a nice control position. Actually, I could move around the mat like this, so I can show my mobility a little bit on the mat from this 1 foot, 1 knee position. Okay, last couple of our Ne-Waza fundamental movements. So we can also, it's probably pretty important to learn how to do some good bridging. So again, feet close to my bum, hips nice and high, hand reaching as far away as I possibly can, and I'm driving away and really reaching. I can sit back up into this kind of balance position, back and bridge. I can even bridge up, walk my toes round into a position to start again. So I can roll forward, 1 foot, 1 knee, full back, bridge, walk my toes round onto the start, into a good start position. So, lots of really good, really important positions to be in Ne-Waza. This one is probably my favourite. It's my favourite because it's the one that looks the stupidest, or looks the funniest. Okay, but again, really important for thinking about how we move our body, how we create space and power, particularly in defensive positions in Ne-Waza. So this one we call Salmon rather than the shrimp. So I'm going to lie on my side with my toes pointed and off the floor here. I'm going to bring my legs up, and as I bring them back, I'm going to pull my own shoulder very slightly in a sharp movement underneath my body. And I'm going to do that all the way in a circle, all the way around, like a salmon. I can go up my other side, same thing. Looks a little bit daft, even feels a little bit daft, but we'll see later on why that's quite an important move in our Ne-Waza. And the last one, we'll do some windscreening. So again, we'll start to think about this balance position on our bum, but also how we might disassociate our arms and our legs, and how we get some movement with that. So while I'm rocking backwards and forwards, I'm now going to circle my arms one way and my legs at a slightly different time, and I can move up and down the mat. If I want to do it a little bit more explosively with a little bit more power, I can try and do big jumps across the mat. So I can try and leave the mat, use all the power of my body, disassociate my arms, my legs, my hips to move across the mat. So, not every single movement that you need, but some really good movements that you can put into your warm-ups, that you can do on your own in the dojo, and that'll give you a really good foundation for some of the judo techniques that we go on to look at. If you want to see some other really, really good quality fundamental Ne-Waza movement, check out Kanemaru's section on Superstar Judo. Some great fundamental movements there, some of the ones we've covered now, some additional stuff as well. Thanks very much, guys.